Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new COTA Young Scholar Forum. My name is Xianbiao Hu. I go by XB. I'm associate professor at the Pennsylvania State University. I'm also a board of director at COTA. Thanks everyone for coming to our webinar today. This is a new forum that we are establishing at COTA. Today, this is the first webinar. We're going to focus on young leader career development in transportation industry. Before we get started, I really want to appreciate the strong support from COTA as well as TRB for this particular webinar. I see online that we have from the COTA side, we have Shanjiang, who is a COTA president, and also we have Chongcheng, who is a COTA vice president online. And this webinar would not be possible without strong support from TRB. I see on the line we have Karen, who is a senior report review officer from TRB, and also Nilu, who is the chair of TRB's Young Participants Council, as well as Crystal, who is assistant director at Rhode Island Department of Transportation, as well as Scott. Later on, I'm going to give a more detailed introduction of Scott. So into this webinar, we are fortunate to have 4 speakers. 2 of them are representatives from the TRB Young Participants Council, and 2 of them are COTA delegates. So here's how this webinar will go. First of all, we are fortunate to have Scott, who is a TRB Technical Activity Division Director, to give us an opening remark. And then we're going to turn into Dr. Shanjiang, who is a COTA president, to give us a few remarks, and then we're going to kick this off. So first of all, I'm going to transition to Scott. And Scott is a new TRB Technical Activities Division Director, which includes oversight of TRB's 100 standing technical committees and the TRB annual meeting. Prior to this position, Scott served as a director for the Marine Board and staffed multiple TRB's standing committees. Before coming to TRB, Scott was a director of the Transportation Policy and Program Development at the American Association of Port Authorities. Scott hold a master's degree from George Mason University and a bachelor degree from Virginia Tech. With this, Scott, I'm going to turn it to you.
I have had very close, operations with the standing technical committees that were spoken of before. A lot of our volunteer leaders and many of the transportation professionals in academia, government, and the private sector, including international. So hopefully can be of value to you all going forward, and I look forward to our continued partnership. Obviously, we're very pleased to have this memorandum of understanding with COTA. And the MOU, I think, has been in place now for 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. And so obviously, we truly value that relationship. So partnerships like these are really important because they help connect transportation professionals across countries, disciplines, and career stages. They also create more opportunities for people to share research, exchange ideas, and contribute to the broader transportation community, which is essentially the reason why TRB exists. I also want to acknowledge Kong Cheng, a COTA board member who represents COTA on TRB's Subcommittee on International Activities. We were just talking about that entity before. We appreciate Kong's service and connection that role provides and the glue that it creates between COTA and TRB. One of the main messages I want to share today is that I hope TRB can be a mainstay in your professional development. There are a lot of ways to get involved with TRB. They don't all require formal appointment or a long-term commitment at the beginning, but you can actually sort of understand our ecosystem best by signing up as a friend and then starting your journey through that process if you haven't already. One example is becoming involved with our standing committees. And I know that some of you are already members and friends, which is excellent. You can also participate in our annual meeting, of course, joining with one of our TRB conferences, reviewing papers, contributing to committee activities, or potentially serving on an expert panel through our cooperative research program. So there's a lot of entry points into our organization. One thing that I'm particularly proud of is that I've been involved for the last 7 to 8, I guess it's been almost 10 years, in the new attendee orientation session that some of you may have attended, in terms of our Sunday afternoon. And
Hello?
you really, I'm sorry?
Yep.
So that new attendee orientation session has been traditionally held on Sunday afternoon, and it really allows you to connect with our actual volunteer leaders in the groups, sections, and committees. And so TRB associated with many of our functions and gain a deeper understanding of our organization. You might not know this, but each year TRB forms more than 150 expert panels on cooperative research projects as well. And these panels are a major way professionals help shape practical research that transportation agencies and organizations can use. So as I said, the entry point best is to set up a profile at mytrb.org if you have not already. And then once you have that profile, you can search for committees that match your interests and then sign up as a friend of those committees. Being a friend allows you to attend the committee meetings, learn more about the committee's work, and volunteer for activities such as peer review of papers, which we're about to start right here in August, and many, many, many other opportunities. The other thing you can do is sign up for our TRB weekly newsletter. And that's really one of the best ways to stay informed about all of the other things that we do throughout the year, such as upcoming TRB conferences, calls for papers, committee activities, and nominations for expert panels. So whether you're early in your career or perhaps well established in your career or even somewhere in between, I would encourage you to think about how TRB can support your professional growth. We value COTA's partnership and we welcome your continued involvement in TRB's committees, conferences, research programs, and international activities. And just want to thank you all for inviting me here today. And I look forward to catching at least the first few minutes of the webinar before I have to rush off to another meeting, but really appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you all today. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. As I mentioned, we really appreciate TRB's support on this. So this is our first webinar. We are already planning for the second webinar, and in that webinar, we'll also feature two panelists from the TRB Young Member Council. So yeah, really appreciate support from you, from Karen, and also from Christos. Right. With that, next I'm going to transition Dr. Shanjiang Zhu, who is an associate professor at George Mason University, which I mentioned multiple times today, and also he's president of COTA to give remarks. Sanjay, I'm going to transition to you.
Thank you, Xianbiao, and thanks, Scott, for the wonderful opening remark. I'm a current president of COTA, so this year is the 30th anniversary of COTA, and we are really excited about this opportunity, this new initiative to serve our community. We are constantly looking for better ways to serve our community and particularly get the young professionals engaged. So I won't keep my remark short, so we can spend more time with this high achieving and exceptionally good panel. But before that, I do want to recognize people who has worked behind the scene for this seminar to happen, including the first co-chair of this Young Professional Seminar Committee, Dr. Yu Zhang from University of South Florida and Jason Tao from University of Minnesota. Because it has been a long time, so we have restructured the organizing committee a little bit. And I also want to thank Christos, who really helped to push our initiative past the finish line so we can make it happen today. So without further ado, Xianbiao, let's get started and hear the wonderful experience from our panelists.
All right, thank you, Sanjay. Yeah, as mentioned, this is the first time we're doing this, so we are very happy. We got a strong support from COTA as well as TRB. On the screen, you will see 4 wonderful panelists. This is possibly the best panelist we can ever get. So sometimes I'm just being very happy. So yeah, so today we have panelists from two members from TRB Young Participants Council. They are Chait, who is the head of sustainability engineering and the research at the Asphalt Institute. We have Skye Xiaoyu, who is with DC DOT. We have Dr. Runsheng, who is with Waymo, and Dr. Joyce Liam, who is with LinkedIn and also starting his own company called Tini. So, yeah, with that, I prepared a few quick questions to get things started. And if any one of you have questions, feel free to enter the questions in the comments, and then I'm gonna have the panelists answer them. With that, I'm gonna start my first question, and this is a question to for everyone to introduce yourself. So, yeah, the question goes this: you all, for the four of you, you all each work in a very different areas of transportation. Some work on autonomous vehicles, some work on the traditional aspect, some work on the LinkedIn sort of IT companies. Could you please, in a few sentences, describe what does career development mean to you personally right now? I understand you got your degree from several years ago, so you have been working for a few years. So at this moment, what does career development mean to you? How about we go? How about we answer them in this sequence? Start with Chai.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you can hear me fine.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to be on this panel and talking to the association members. So I work, as you can see, so I work for a trade association called Asphalt Institute, and our members manufacture liquid asphalt that goes into the, mostly 85% goes into the roads, and the rest 10% goes into the roofs, the shingles on top of your homes. So, and our members manufacture across North America. So in my role, I basically work on the sustainability aspects, which deal with everything related to performance, environmental quantification, economic quantification, what not, which is pursued more of the traditional material supply arena. For me, the career development aspect that XBU asked, so while doing my PhD was most of the technical training and like say the in-depth nitty-gritties of the devils in the weeds, right? But when you get into a role like mine in a trade association, you need to work with actual people. So it needs more of emotional intelligence as well, in addition to your IQs. So an overall development of an individual is what I see as a path towards a bigger career development, because we are all humans at the end of the day, and in order to deal with other humans in a empathetic manner, as well as making sure we are reaching to an optimized solution, it's important for us to carry forward our credible ethics of technical knowledge, but also make sure we are empathetic towards others and carry that kind of emotional quotient when we work in a broader organization sense. So those are my couple of cents on that particular question. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Skye.
All right. Thank you, Bhat. So, first of all, thank you again, Karen, and thank you for my friends, Nilong, who I think is the young member representing TRB. She's a good friend of me at DC, so glad that I'm able to join this panel. It's my honor to be here. For me, like career development right now means like expanding both technical and leadership capacity, because I am leading the ITS branch, and I'm also the special assistant to my CIO, because we're currently under the IT division under DDOT. So technical is important, leadership is important as well. That help us to kind of deliver measurable impact while staying more like, hey, technology, public needs involvement. So that's my input there. Pass on to Joyce.
All right, Joyce.
Hi, I think I'm cutting in line with that. So I'm Joyce. Sorry, Rachel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
No, it's all right,
okay.
it's all right.
Okay. Hi, I'm Joyce. I'm a software engineer at LinkedIn and also starting my own company for children drinkware. So on the paper, it seems like nothing is involved with transportation engineering, but I feel like as we all have learned through our career is that you are never doing exactly the thing you're learning from bachelor's or grad school. It's the skills that are transferable. Your major is not really transferable. When I'm looking for software engineer jobs in the Silicon Valley area, I feel like a huge imposter syndrome. A person like I don't know whether I'm able to represent my skills as a person with a background in transportation engineering. But in the end, it is your math skill, your analytical skill, whether you're good at coding, whether you're good at analyzing data. And with my new startup, it's like whether you can do product development, whether you can do good marketing. This comes from your intrinsic skills. It's whether you are persistent enough. So being persistent is a skill. Your major is not a skill. So when you're looking for jobs, try not to limit yourself. And in this ever-changing AI, fast-paced life, I don't know whether I will be able to keep my job in LinkedIn for long, but I still trust myself in being a good person. So maybe someone will need me if LinkedIn doesn't. So yeah, my final suggestion is build your skill, not focusing too much on your major, the courses you take. Now back to you, Runsheng.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Runsheng.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. I'm Runsheng. I'm right now a research scientist at Waymo. So I feel like as a researcher at Waymo, the daily life is to deal with those exciting words like VLA, end-to-end driving, multimodal, large language models, world models. So I feel the career development for me stayed the same as a few years ago, like is to find the passions about the new tech and take my bets and all in, fully commit myself. Whether I succeed, I feel I keep doing it. And then during the process, I gain a lot of personal growth and I made impact to the world. I think that's the meaning to me right now.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. I was able to hear a lot of great insights from each one of you. Yeah, my next question, for the work that you're doing, is this consistent with what you have in mind when you were grad students? Essentially, when you're a grad student, do you envision that you will be landing at today's job? And then, if not, if yes, great. If not, was there a specific moment or a key decision opportunity that leads to who you are today? This time, how about we go reverse order? Go back to Runzen first.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's get me. Yeah. I think I really love the Mike Tyson's famous saying, everybody has a plan until they are punched in the mouth. So I always get a plan, but there always something interrupt my plan. So I don't think I really plan to get the position here. But my lesson is, when something really break your plan, that's something really huge challenge, but also can be a huge opportunity. I remember when I graduated from my master and I went to Mercedes-Benz for work. And my plan was like, work another few years, get more research papers, and maybe, get a PhD in Stanford, Cornell on the 580. That's my imagination. But then after I work half year, the company decided to, kill the project, kill the team. So I have to adapt my plan. So I can either go to another job and stick to my plan or just, go to PhD. So I choose the second option, and at that time, the best offer I get is from Jiaqi, from UCLA. He's a great transportation expertise, but he has limited knowledge in the computer vision, and I'm his first student. So it's kind of far from my plan, but I also see opportunity. Like I can create a new field in the academia, the quality perception. I may have a chance to graduate faster, and so I take a chance, and that leads to where I'm now. So I think my suggestion is, whenever you get a plan and something interrupts you really badly, take that as a chance and take your bet all in, like I said before.
Thank you, Runzen. As you know, we have many students looking at your paper and reading your paper and learned a lot from you. So, yeah, we feel you made a lot of strategic decisions along the way. So that was great. Now go to Joyce.
Hi. So I didn't. So I got my PhD in transportation engineering, but my bachelor was not in transportation engineering, and I didn't go proceed with transportation engineering after. So I have to say the plan just kept changing, and yeah, it's whatever interests me the most. Again, not limited by what you have done before, but what you want to do in the future. So, yeah, what was the question again? What was the plan? Like I didn't have a plan. I could kind of go with the flow. and also got married. So my husband got a job in West Coast. Also, I was like, no, I have to find a job in West Coast, and I try to broaden my opportunities by go to the tech area. So that's the main driven force.
Awesome, Joyce. Skye?
All right, the key moment that shaped my path was during my research time at Texas Transportation Institute, right? So when I work on the CV pool fund studies project V2I with TechStart, I saw how Dr. Jianming Ma at the central office championed for TSMO, championed for CV initiative as statewide. And we work with Steve Chu, who lead his team at TechStart Houston office Signal Shop. And those public sector support is really turned out to be the champion that we can move the deployment into the ground. And that experience really showed me that, hey, all what we can make an impact is from the people who bridging the innovation and implementation. So it made me realize that, hey, maybe if I want to work on the deployment side of technology, working directly within an agency, it's a good idea. So that was not something that I mapped out like starting of my grad school, but it was a defining moment when I see how Jianming can make a great impact in TechStart for us, for my research project under CV Pool Fund. And that led me to say I will pursue my public sector career in DC.
Thank you, Skye. That was a great personal story. Hey, Chait?
Yeah. So during my PhD is when I started as a structural engineer. So didn't start as transportation engineer. So working mostly on the bridge design aspects. But then as with Runsheng, what he said, so in my case, the project didn't get killed. The advisor himself moved to the other university, but couldn't take me. So I had to shift my focus from structural engineering to more of life cycle engineering, involving life cycle cost analysis and other aspects. I did work on a few federal highway funded projects during my PhD, but and had interned at a trade association. However, working for this current trade association, it's a bit upstream for a traditional civil engineer because it does involve a lot of knowledge that's needed in oil and gas sector, biorefinery sectors, as well as refining and other aspects. So for me, the learning was post I got into the role in terms of the specific domain expertise, and I'm still learning, right? But learning is a continuous process. So yeah, it's as it comes. I equip myself with the necessary body of knowledge. Just like last month, I got a certification in machine learning now because it's not just to how to use Claude or Chat GPT, but to understand the underlying algorithms, how they would affect our transportation engineering decision making, right? So yeah, it's been a continuous learning and evolving process, and it will continue to be. So that's kind of been my journey from grad school to the current role.
Thank you. This is awesome. Yeah, I heard the learning a lot of times. So yeah, it's great to know that learning doesn't stop after we get our degree. So that is awesome. For the next question, I'm gonna direct it to Runsheng first, and then perhaps Joyce can also chime in. So yeah, so Runsheng, as we know, Waymo is one of the top autonomous vehicle company in the world. And then and as I mentioned, I know not only from my lab but also from many younger generations, many of them who work on autonomous vehicle read your paper, and we feel that you have been pretty strategic, made good decisions along the way. For example, you choose to work on cooperative perceptions. You are the one of the earliest researchers in those field. You choose to publish quite a few papers on the data sets, so those gain really good citations. So we want to know what does it take to build your career all the way to here? And then not just technical skills, but how do you think? How do you work? How do you grow yourself all the way to today?
Okay. Yeah. So I think I have three principles. First, it's always align with your personal interests, with your lab's mission or the field's mission or your company's mission. Yeah. For example, at Waymo right now, Waymo is a very special company. It's really focused on single thing driving. and it's try to build the most experienced driver. So to do that, the different team has different mission, and you may have your own interest, but you have to align with your interest with the team mission. And when you are a PhD, right, you should notice what is the pinpoint of the whole field, and then what is your interest. So my interest was computation, and I feel like at that point the cooperative driving field really lacks of some public benchmark for the computation, because a lot of new technique come from the computation. So then I build this. So I align my interest with what the people what the world really need. So that's my first principle. My second is always try to improve. Like as a researcher, always try to improve my research taste. So I think it's the same for PhD or for work and Waymo. When engineer face an issue, because sometimes they are under the short-term pressure, they have to do some hacky solution engineering skill to solve the issue. But as a researcher, we need to solve things fundamentally. We need to deep think and solve things in a fundamental way from the first principle. That really means you have to spend a few months to explore something uncertain, and at the end you may fail, you may succeed. So that's a huge cost. That means you have to take your bet on some future tech. So you have to improve your taste, improve your tech vision along the way to be a good researcher. And the third principle is negotiation is really, really important. I think that's some skill that tech people usually ignore. For example, as a researcher and Waymo, you have to communicate with the production team to let them, buy your research prototype. And you have to get your manager support, and you have to keep aligned with the team's mission. That all require negotiation. And I really recommend one book called Getting to Say Yes. So in that book, it said negotiation is not about compromise your interest to fit the other's need or the other way. It's about understand both sides' fundamental interest and then achieve a win-win deal. So I feel that book can be very useful for all the PhD students. You can read that book and apply to your supervisor and see how it goes. Yeah, that's my answer to the questions.
All right, Runsheng, thank you so much. I think negotiation requires, prior to the negotiation, you need to know what you want, right?
Yeah.
So you have to try to think this through, and then coming back to your first principle, align what you want with what the team's interests are, and then the firm's interest. So yeah, anyone from the team wants to add on to this? All right. If not, can I move on to Joyce? Hey, Joyce, I think you have a very, very interesting and also sort of a different background. Well, not background. Your background is in civil engineering, and I know you work on autonomous vehicles and other things, traffic control during your PhD. But right now you work at LinkedIn, so that is sort of an IT company, right?
Mm.
And in the meantime, you are also I think you are starting your own company. It's called Tini, right?
Yes.
So that doesn't happen very often. Right?
Oh, thanks.
And typically people say, well, you have to choose one, right? So yeah, how did you do both? What made you all the way to be who you are here today?
Oh, thank you. Thanks. You said that like it's a good thing, but now I feel like most people are right. When they're saying like you shouldn't do both, I think I agree with them now. It's very hard to do both. This second like small company I'm founding is a children drinkware brand. It's mostly because I have three little girls. It's inspired by whatever they want, and I cannot find on Amazon. I want to make it myself. So it's not very cost effective, not thought through. It's very midnight when I'm like late changing diapers, and I just random thoughts. So this is not as clearly thought out as my career development as in LinkedIn. So what I learned from here is from my career change from Penn State to LinkedIn, and also from LinkedIn to now a product-based brand, is again, as I said, is your personal skill. I totally agree with Runsheng. Like working with a big tech company made me learn that you've got to voice out your opinion. And if you don't believe in your opinion, people will not allocate resource to you whatsoever. and it's coordinating between the product side, the designer side, and it's sometimes even the legal side, the marketing side, to make sure as engineers, we try to make sure we get things done. But after that, there is 1,000 steps before other people are actually giving interest to your output. And this, I learned that, and I realized also building a products brand is you see thousands of things on Amazon, like what can sell your product in the 1 minute, 1 second thumbnail preview is what you convey your idea the best. Like we can see all the things with AI. Sometimes I use them a lot, otherwise I wouldn't be able to achieve things. But also you can see people overly relying on AI that make things seem so generic. You see all the product that sounds very similar to like you look at it, you know that it's perfect grammar but lack of human touch. And that's what we also see at work now because everybody is using AI to write codes now. Like how do you differentiate between them? It's sometimes it's the personal skills that make you stand out. So whatever you are changing, as I said, I feel like we are not just transportation engineers. We are good communicators at our job. We are pushing through the big achievements. That's what made us us. Like it's not just the label on our resume. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you, Joyce. I'm going to follow up with you. You mentioned skills quite a few times.
Mm,
And I think we all know in transportation engineering, many grad students, they want to do AI and they want to move to Silicon Valley or Seattle after they graduate. So
mm.
for the grad students in transportation engineering and who wants to go to a tech company after they graduate, what skills do they need to build? Um,
So currently, I think the different company might be different, and I can totally see the workplace. They're changing the hiring procedure. I graduated a decade ago. That's different era. If you know coding, like when I transfer from electrical engineering from my bachelor's to transportation engineering, I feel like my advisors are looking at my coding skills. That's what I mean that they don't really care about. I think Dr. Guy, I was not looking for whether you can do transportation specifically. It's more, can you do coding well? It's the application is on transportation, but the skill is in coding, your analytical skills. And when I transfer from Penn State to LinkedIn, when I'm presenting my resume, I if I understand correctly, the human resource department are also looking at whether you have done coding projects before, not specifically whether you done that in the software engineering area or the or the transportation area. And now with the hiring process, we're still doing a lot of coding, but I see that I've heard that in Google or something, they're already changing. They're doing more AI based. So you are not solely questioned on your coding skills, but the transition is slow. I can see in LinkedIn, still very coding based, but everyone at job is already using AI to code. So there is still this discrepancy that if the current students are graduating now want to find a job in Silicon Valley, still try to do a lot of coding challenges before you look for a job. In 5 years, I'm not sure because I see a lot of people from business background in our company being a product manager with no engineering training. Now they can write codes with AI. And my job, one part of my job is to review it, and they're not bad. Like I probably will just write as well as them because we're all using AI anyways. I can see that the world is very changing, and also we have layoffs after layoffs in the past years. I don't know what will happen. I'm trying to make sure I'm safe now, but if I can help anyone, yeah, you feel free to send them my way if anybody have like specific questions.
Thank you, Joyce. Yeah, we continue to see numerous transportation students. Numerous people go to industry, go to Amazon, go to Meta, right?
Mm.
And then yeah, I want to cue someone. I also see Dr. Pandiala on the call. I know I used to have a good friend that that sort of did a PhD around the same time with me, and then become a faculty, and then later on went to quit. I got tenure, quit, and went to Amazon. So. Yeah, I think this this thing I think perhaps will not end. Transportation many transportation student we have to program and then so it's natural for them to pursue continue to pursue positions in the industry. So
I have a personal curiosity problem to Joyce. When you say you have three girls, you have the three at the same time, how you balance your life and work while you have that three girls?
A question for me. Yeah, I have three girls, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and 1-year-old.
Okay, it's not same time, but very
Not same time. Yeah, I cannot do it one thing at a time. Yes. So currently it's easier. The 5-year-old can take care of the 1-year-old a little bit. I feel like it's easier than when I just had one, and I'm more adept to this role now. I kind of know what is happening now, and they go to daycare, so I do multiple drop-offs during the morning, multiple pickups in the afternoon. And then I feel like it gives me some purpose. I'm a very family person. Like if I feel like I don't feel very uh fulfilled at work today, but then like pick them up from daycare and then they smile at me. I was like, okay, today is a good day.
All right, that's what
Sometimes
I
it
do
goes
with
very
my dog.
opposite, but yeah.
That's what I do with my dog. Okay.
All right. Anything else before we move forward?
I just had a quick comment on how transportation students want to like become a researcher at Google and like demand a Waymo. I think three things matter really matter for researcher. Publications, and second is your background fitting to what team really needs, and the third is your connection. I don't think major is a blocker. You can do anything you want as long as your research work align with what team really looking for.
All right. Thank you, Runsheng. Appreciate that. Next, I'm going to direct the question to Chait. We know you work at the Asphalt industry and then Asphalt Institute. And we know that sort of infrastructure and pavement is sort of a traditional industry. And change could be slow, but you are leading the sustainability work over there. So how do you push for the real change from within a sort of a more traditional organization, and what does the leadership look like in that environment?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm a civil engineer who stayed in a civil engineering domain, I guess, right? So maybe I was not that good at coding. But no, so it's as you said, like you can either work in the system and try to change it, or go outside because you have gotten a PhD. In my particular case, and especially the work that I do. So when you say sustainability, it's what we've envisioned here at the Asphalt Institute is think of it as decision making 2.0. So for all the things traditionally the way you would do decisions, maybe maybe reactively around the performance identification of de-stresses in these aspects or traffic management, being more proactive rather than reactive is the switch that needs to happen in terms of the decision making. And for that to happen, you first need to educate the audience. So how I see my role different than an academic, not that different, but here instead of educating students, we educate industry leaders. So you're basically, so because if a VP of a company, he has his regular 8 to 5 job or maybe his 12 hours job, they might not have necessary time to upgrade their body of knowledge. It then comes back to us. The responsibility is upon us to educate them, to get them to meet at the speed that they are at, rather than talking to them as if they don't know these things, but to meet them. That's where the empathy comes in, to meet them at where they are, to understand the skills that they have, but also communicate to them what additional skills are needed in order to upgrade and update the decision making process. And this mantra applies all the way from your lab technicians to the VPs and the presidents of companies if they are involved in sales and other roles. So focus on the fundamentals. And when I say fundamentals, not the engineering fundamentals, even going back, because engineering itself is an application, right? So while it is frustrating at times that the pace at which decision making happens might not be as quick as the tech industry, we also don't have so many layoffs. So that's a trade-off, right? So it's a benefit. So but at the same point, you now have an added responsibility to have that extra patience, but also not just learn the technical skills, but learn where the humans to which whom you have to educate are, and then kind of train them. So right now, it'll be 5 years in November that I joined the Asphalt Institute. Everything started by teaching the alphabets of environmental sustainability. Now, the newer challenge for the industry is to start with the alphabets for machine learning and deep learning.
Mhm.
So it's not just sufficient for me to be equipped with those skills, but to make them understand for their context, how are these advanced topics relevant? Because if I start talking to them at a very high level about different algorithms, they'll lose interest very easily. So it's like how
Right.
an academic would teach their students, right? You have to understand and kind of assess where the students are and tell it in a language that they would understand. So yeah, it's a big education piece as part of the process, increasing patience, right? And then empathy. This combination has been working pretty well, touch wood. So hopefully, like, and that's where my success that I see is not by me being on a stage or on this panel, but when a member of my trade association goes out and is able to give a presentation on a very complex topic around environmental sustainability or even artificial intelligence. For me, that's the success because they have invested to learn and now are going out and communicating it. Sorry, it was long,
Awesome.
but those 2 cents, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I do see a lot of change are happening to your industry. You mentioned machine learning, AI models, and also sustainabilities and other changes. So yeah, awesome. Thank you. Next, I'm gonna direct the question to Skye. Hey, Skye, we know you work in the DC DOT, so it's a government agency, right? And government is also sometimes as sort of slow moving, as seen as a slow moving. And then well, I guess this is the case everywhere. So, but we know ITS is all about innovation. We have all kinds of emerging technologies, right? So, how do you deal with that gap between a slow-moving agency and innovation-based ITS? And then, for the younger generation who are interested in building a career at government agencies, what does a career growth look like?
All right, XP, that's a excellent questions. Let me answer in this way. So government agencies have a responsibility to be transparent, accountable, and good stewards of public funds, right? However, I would challenge your perception there, like government is slow moving.
Okay.
So I can say for DDOT, right? I can say for DC DOT. We're advancing initiative like improving safety, mobility, and operations that across the district. It's not only DDOT, DC government, our DC IT, our DC finance, DC procurement office, they are trying their best to innovate it. Give you some example here, procurement office, right? I've had a check with the what we call OCP, the chief of OCP. We had a great conversation on design build contract. He gave me some existing example that we made the case for quick build using design build contracts that make the entire design bid build contract way faster, right? Public-private partnership, I chat with him too. We have the street light PPP that is letting the private partner really contribute it to the font so we can expedite the project delivery. And then we have a lot of pilot going on in DC. Not the one that like 2, 3 years ago, just this year, we announced the curbside EV charging pilot, micro freight DC pilot, and ITS America M Street safety technology pilot. So we're also piloting as agency that kind of pushing us to the innovation, make us more fast-pacing. So with that said, I'm at least for DDOT, I think we're quickly moving and also we're letting the public know that everything is accountable. We provide dashboard, publicly available dashboard for safety cameras, pilotings, everything is on our website. We have performance metrics team helping us to do all those data, share with public. Y'all can request if you're interested. For your second part of the question, young professional who interested in government career. So I believe the growth can be much broader than many people expected, right? Early on, you may focus on skills, technical skills, project implementations, and as you go progress in your senior and then go to ADs, chiefs level, or special assistants to the chiefs, you can kind of like looking at the budget, like looking at the STIP plan, right? I'm just had a chat with my chief on the STIP plan, why we don't have ITS budget, probably under the STIP. Policy development, right? So what we're gonna do with the Ward 6 Work 6 ANC, Charles Allen, he proposed the AV along with Waymo, right? So what we're gonna do with that? Because we have our own AV program. It's not under my program, but it's under the research and innovation program. So I think that team going to be at hearing. So those policy development things will come into your level once you go up to the chain under the government growth environment. And then I want to highlight the last is awarding experience under public sector, right? So you provide the service to millions of residents, commuters, and visitors. For me, that's 700,000 residents in DC, 5,000 commuter per workday. And then I just did the research. We have 30 million visitors per year for DC, right? That's not like that's an average year, not 250 make it 30 million. It's just per year. We have 30 million visitor international domestic to DC. So that made your job as a public servant more meaningful. And I hope people can consider for government. All right.
All right, thank you, Skye. Really happy to hear that DDOT is innovative and move around fast. I hope all the other state UT can learn from DDOT. So, all right, we are at the 152. We have. I want to open up for the audience that if you have any questions to the panelists, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a questions. Right? Do you have questions from the audience? And as I mentioned, this is the first time we are doing this. I feel our next webinar would be sometime in the summer, would be probably in August or September. We could probably try a different time, possibly say in the morning time or evening time. So those in the Asian time zone would also be able to join as well. So, all right, here now I'm gonna move on to possibly my last question and also final question about AI. We have only 7 minutes left. So yeah, AI is, I really want to ask this because AI is advancing very fast. And a few of you have already mentioned AI for quite a few times. So yeah, so AI is changing everything, every aspect of transportation, right? From autonomous vehicles to smart roads and how companies hire people, how we are writing, how we program that kind of things. So has AI changed how you think of your own career? In particular, I'm gonna go to you first, Joyce. You mentioned that the tech company has been changing fast, so may not be very stable. So has AI changed how you think about your own career, and what skill do you think will still matter, say 10 years from now? How about you, Joyce? How about we have you answer first?
Yes, so I feel like as a software engineer whose main job is coding, I feel like AI it's definitely taking over our jobs. Like one part of my job is coding AI is to write better codes, and now they're taking over the jobs that I give them. Feel kind of betrayal, but that's the just the truth of this industry. But I see that, for example, when that's like it's the classical training in our upbringing is our grammar skill, our logic skill, and our rhetoric skill that separates being just a coding person versus being a like a team player, being able to be a manager through that path. I believe AI still cannot take over the job as a manager, where you can allocate resource, fighting for resource. Now at software companies like us, it's kind of a jungle there. Everybody is trying to fight for more resources, and being a good manager, being able to prove the value of your job, that's very important. If you are still trying to prove that your coding skill is better than others, I feel like the time is gone for that. So it's very important to upskill yourself. Make sure that you present yourself as a person that not only sit behind the computer coding, but also being able to communicate. AI cannot help you to coordinate things with managers, with products, with design, with legal and sales. And that's the part like I feel like is where I can upskill myself more and to prove my value more. But yes, in this industry now, if someone asks me whether they should still kind of go only focusing on this career path after graduation, I will probably I will probably convince them to try different ways to broaden the opportunities. But also that's also the reason why I'm trying to start another company. In case I lose this one, I have another income resource.
All right. Anyone else want to add to this?
Yeah, so I want to focus my answer on what skills still matter after 10 years. So AI can help you a lot of things, but it cannot help you build the core ability as a human, such as the determination to solve a challenge, the courage to explore the risky world, or the communication in person, as Joyce mentioned, or your taste to art, to beauty. So that's something the human has to experience to build. And let's say AI now is powerful. It can help you build a video game. But if you never watch any movies, if you never watch any arts or read any novels or play any video games, you just let AI build a video game for you, then I believe that video game will be pretty mediocre and pretty without any of your personal signature. So I think the key element to build all of the core human ability is thinking. People explore the world, observe different things, and then people do deep think and then transfer those observations to your knowledge, to your inner side, to what make you really are. And so when we invent internet, we stop going to library to look up things. So we abandon the habit of reading. And now AI is more severe, like it's trying to replace your thinking because you have issue, you let it to plan everything for you, and that's something really destroy a human. So my suggestion is, no matter how AI is powerful in the future, don't give up deep thinking. Always independently think yourself.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Runsheng.
yeah, I agree with everything you said there, Runsheng. And right, like when you shape that question there, XP, I was trying to say, are we talking about machine learning, or we talking about Gen AI, or talking AI agent, right? So those means different things as of now for how we shape it in DC under our AI working group. DDA have an AI working group that I'm uh, contributed to. We have AI strategy plan, mostly focused on Gen AI and Agent AI. I think I'm able to make a case for my AI camera using YOLO Modo. That's not a AI that the DC IT office is thinking of. They are thinking Copilot. That's the Copilot training we have been taking. That's different than the YOLO Modo, which I worked with a couple of years ago when I worked at TTI. It's just a YOLO 4 when I worked. Now it's YOLO 23. That's the same thing, same algorithm. But like it's different. Like when you say AI there, and then some of you might be at ITS America annual meeting last week in Detroit. Everything it's AI, but I think people are talking about different things from the chain has been described there. And for us, it's really to let the public know which AI is which AI, right? So don't make it too broad, narrow it down so we know which area can be boundary, which area can be more freely shared to the community, so we can be a better person along with AI, right? It definitely changed the mindset. Whatever I worked at TTI, it's a prototype. Now I can purchase exactly the same thing, using the procurement method we have for hardware. So I can have something easily purchased off the shelf, right? That's never happened before, but now we can do that with the advancement of AI. And we're gonna live along with this, like we live along with cell phone couple of decades ago, right? So we'll survive with a better person with AI.
All right, thank you, Skye. I know we're out of time, so really appreciate everyone's time today. We are recording this. I think we're gonna upload to YouTube. I guarantee everyone looks great on camera. So yeah, so hopefully this discussion will help others if we put on YouTube, and the other people who can also watch this and learn from you guys. So in the future, there maybe other future audience reach out to you, either writing your email or find your LinkedIn. We will greatly appreciate if you can help them address their questions or answer the question they have in mind. COTA also have a variety of activities. Each year at the TRB, we have a COTA Winter Symposium. We have an annual reception. At the summer, we also have annual CICTP. So we would welcome anyone who are interested in COTA to join and also to participate on all the activities. Yeah. So with that, we're gonna conclude this event. It's really helpful. Thank you again, everyone, and thank you, Karen, Scott, Shanjiang, Tom, everyone online. So with that, thank you guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.